Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the Wrestling Huddle. I'm Review Sports Editor Mike Brown, joined by the guru of grappling, Bob Steer. Bob, here we are, the state wrestling tournament. It's been a good year. We have 14 kids going to state, which is probably just a tad over normal for us. Some surprises last weekend, good and bad. And how do you foresee this year's state tournament for our area?
Well, you're right. It is a good group, a good sized group, and some good kids.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really see any state champions.
Right.
Without,
I think it's that kind of year.
Without some major
getting
breaks.
on a roll. Sure.
But I see a lot of guys with potential to get on the podium.
Yeah, I do
really
too. I think we're going to have a lot of placers, and I think it's going to take a guy to get a individual state title for our area this year. A guy who just gets on a roll and maybe can pull an upset along the way.
Right.
But I do see, like you, a lot of place winners. But let's go through some. Obviously, Alliance has Sean Barnes. He had a great district tournament last week to finish third, I thought.
Yeah, an outstanding tournament, and was able to avenge a loss to West Branch and to take third place. Which is big. I mean, being a 3 versus a 4 down at state for that first round match, definitely gives you a little bit of an advantage.
Sure.
So, but yeah, he was very impressive.
Yeah,
very
he was.
Impressive last
And in
weekend.
Marlington, I believe Brennan Joseph is making his second appearance at the state meet, and the Dukes also have Ben Higgins. Ben Higgins is going to be at 220, and Brennan's going to be at 132. I would think those guys have a chance, especially Brennan Joseph being there before. I think that it makes a big difference when you've got that state meet experience prior to going, and I think that helps.
That experience will definitely help Brennan. Having already been through it last year, and just those nerves of walking out through that tunnel, and getting in front of that huge crowd those first couple of days. So. I think that'll definitely be of benefit to Brennan. And Ben, I mean, he's just someone that just wrestled his tail off this past weekend.
Yes, he did.
And was a little bit of a surprise.
Right,
I mean,
in a nice way.
I pegged him as a possibility, but, he stepped it up.
Yeah.
He really stepped it up and had a great weekend and well-deserved trip to Columbus.
Right. And as we were talking about Brennan Joseph from Marlington, another guy with prior state meet experience for West Branch, they have 3 guys going the most of any area team. Mason Hughes made it to state last year, and he's going back to Columbus this week.
Yep, and 160 is one of those weight classes. We'll talk about Hartshorn in a minute. But, with Mason Hughes also, I mean, these are guys that, most years you might say, well, they've got with a good draw, could do something. But you've got an Alex Marinelli, who's the number 1 kid in the nation in that weight class.
Right.
So
it's very
so their goal is to just get as far as they can.
Right.
You'd like to be in the finals against the Marinelli.
Absolutely, and take your shot.
Take your best shot.
Yep.
But, it's as it was at district, it's a loaded weight at state.
Yes, it is.
But I think those two, and we're talking about West Branch now, I think Mason has a very good shot at getting on that podium. He came up a little short last year, but as we already talked about Brennan, he has that experience.
Got that experience, yep.
It's
a process a lot of times. It really is a process of getting that experience first. And then West Branch has 2 other guys. Alex Schoffer at 106, I thought had a great term. He's making his first trip to state as a senior. Well-deserved. There's a kid who's really paid his dues to get there, and he's going his senior year.
Very well deserved, hardworking kid, and just a phenomenal all-around athlete. I mean, people, and I know it was a nice article with his athlete of the week, reminding people what a great soccer player he is.
Right.
And to be able to transition to another sport, a secondary sport, and make it to state in that secondary sport is just a tremendous accomplishment. And he worked his tail off, and glad to see it. And he is one of those that I think I think has a pretty good chance of getting on the podium.
Yeah, he did a great job. The district only gave up 5 points in 4 matches, which is amazing at the Alliance District, which is such a tough district. It really is.
He wrestled really smart. I mean, he picked his spots where to take his shots and get the points that he needed. But other than that, his defense was strong. He wrestled really smart all weekend.
Right, and then you have Ian Sharp, continuing the tradition of the Sharp family at West Branch. He is the 6th different Sharp heavyweight wrestler to make it to Columbus in wrestling, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's got to be right up there with some of the other top wrestling families in Ohio.
I doubt there are too many other family names.
I mean, Jordan, I think of a Jordan name, but not too many. I agree.
Yeah. They're I'm sure that's an elite group that they're a part of, and Ian is the latest.
Yeah.
He's just had such a tremendous season. He's placed highly at every tournament they've gone to, and I'm sure he was a little disappointed in losing that 3rd, 4th place match, but he's the kind of kid that can bounce back.
Right.
And he's the kind of kid that could go down there and beat a 1 seed.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. He's had a great season.
I wouldn't put it past Ian at all to be able to pull an upset like that right out of the gate.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. And then obviously, when we talk about some of our top guys who could really go a long way in Columbus, I think you have to look at Minerva and Dalton Hartshorn. There's a guy who's been to Columbus before and has the talent. There's a guy who could really do something, I think, down there.
Right, and unfortunately, I forgot to check his bracket to see if he's opposite of Marinelli or not. That I mentioned Marinelli's number 1 in the country. But if he's opposite, he's got a good chance to get in the finals. Right. No question about it. Because Dalton is that good. He's that accomplished. And he has a couple years of experience down there where he's come up short. I'm sure there's a fire in his belly,
right?
To really make a strong run down there. So.
Yeah, and you have to be happy for him because he was injured, missed most of the year, and has come back, and things have worked out real well for him. And he's positioned himself well in Columbus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then another kid from Minerva. I believe this is a first-time state qualifier. Ben Zabaznik, I hope I'm saying that right. At 132, was qualified for state as well.
Outstanding story. Just a hard-working kid. He's one of those and he's actually a summer partner with my son, so I've known Ben for a long time.
Yeah.
He's not a phenomenal natural athlete. He's just a hard worker,
right.
And has just had to work so hard just to get to this point. I'm so happy for him that he was able to make that trip to Columbus.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. I hope he finds a way to get 2 wins,
right.
and get on the podium.
Right.
And that would be a tremendous accomplishment for him. But just making it there is a tremendous accomplishment for him. Really, he's a great kid, and I'm really happy for him.
That's great. And then when we talk about wrestling tradition, you're talking about the Southeast Pirates. Southeast has 2 guys going, including a defending district champion in Brett Bailey at 132. There's another guy I think has a chance to do well in Columbus.
There's another kid I've known for a long time, and really happy for Brett. He's really turned it on this season. He's a different kid this year than he was last year, and just so much more confident. And I think the cut to 32 really helped him. Helped him give him a little mental edge that. He's got a shot of doing some good things down in Columbus.
Yeah.
I think he could get high on the podium. I really believe he's wrestling at his top right now.
Okay, and another Southeast guy who really had a good season, Hunter McPeak, is going at 145.
Yeah, Hunter again is one of those guys that's just peaking at the right time. He's got the talent, no question about it. And he had a really good season. But he's wrestling at his best at the perfect time.
Right.
So I think he's another one that I really hope and think we could see on the podium.
And I'll tell you what, a guy I'm really happy for, Salem's Jesse Slocum, made it to state at 182. He just had a great district tournament. A big physical wrestler, well conditioned, and you're happy to see that for him.
Definitely. That kid is a bull. But he also has some tremendous technique.
He does.
He is slick for a 182 pounder.
Yeah.
He is so quick with some of his, his duck unders, and it's just phenomenal to watch him move like a 152, 160 pounder.
Yeah.
And he's wrestling up at 182, and again, another guy that just seems to be peaking.
Right.
And that's what you'll see with a lot of these guys. That's what it takes to get to Columbus.
Absolutely.
Most of these guys, you could say that. But Jesse's looked really good, and expect good things from him.
Okay. And then obviously we got 3 Division III wrestlers going to Columbus this year. And really the nice story for us is Charlie Smith, the 220 from United High School. United just started a wrestling program in the last few years, and Charlie was the first ever state qualifier last year, and he's going back again this year at 220. So you got to be happy for him. There's a guy who's basically probably wrestling against some other area guys to get experience, because I'm not sure they have a full team at United yet. So you got to be happy for him.
Yeah, I don't think they have much at all. To tell you the truth, I think he spends most of his time with his coach Hilliard and going in the room with Minerva and wherever else they can find. Can find a partner for him.
Practice partner, sure.
Just what a story. What a story of perseverance that,
really
all that adversity and just keep pushing and keep pushing. And,
he's
this
made
is
it twice.
His second trip to states.
So, that's really good. And then Waterloo, I tell you what, Waterloo's wrestling program the last 5 years has had an unbelievable ride. They are really a good Division III wrestling program now. And they've got 2 guys going in, Patrick Jordan at 152 and Will Bolance at 195. And I tell you what, they've done a great job out of Waterloo the last few years.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure Will was there last year. I remember watching him at state last year, and he impressed me then. I think he was a freshman. I think he's a sophomore this year, and he, for an upper weight freshman, he looked really good last year. So haven't seen him this year. I'll be honest, I haven't seen him at all. Sure. But he impressed me last year as a freshman. So I'm sure he's he's primed to make a nice run this year.
Right.
And the other kid, absolutely. I did see his record. He's had a really outstanding season, and like you said, just that whole program has really it's turned around there. Yep. And they're putting some good wrestlers out.
They sure had an individual state champ just 3 or 4 years ago, I believe, with J.J. Diven. So, but anyway, well, I tell you what, it should be fun at the state tournament this weekend. Action gets underway on Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. It will resume again at 10 a.m. on Friday morning and Saturday morning, and then the finals are going to be at 5:30 on Saturday evening at Value City Arena at The Ohio State University. So should be a fun time. So for Bob Steer, this is Mike Brown. We'll see you on the mat.